Jumper. Commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now, ToyCast with your hosts, TFG1 Mike, General Techno.
Legends movie I got Robot Heroes Ravage as well, like the original.
Oh, good.
I
Cool.
just forgot to mention that to you. And I got the Legends as well, movie Legends as well.
The movie Legends I don't really mind because it's basically a smaller version of the deluxe, but
He looks great in robot mode.
I went to Toys R Robot mode. You mean cat mode?
Yeah, cat. He's a cat robot.
Yeah, well, that's technically an alt mode. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'd gone to Toys R Us, oh god, a few weeks ago. Might have been last month. I don't remember. And I was looking in the Transformers stuff because we were on the hunt for Rodimus, which didn't find any, but that's fine. And I actually finally ran into a pack of Jolt and Ravage for the Robot Heroes. And I still maintain that thing is an ugly piece of brown shit. Ugh.
I mean, it's not, but we aren't going to agree on this, so I won't bother arguing.
No, we're not. So, welcome to ToyCast, episode 71. I am your host, Steve, Jew, and Mike, and joining me is General Techno. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
How are you?
All right. I'm doing okay.
That's good.
Settling in after my move. I've still got a bunch of stuff, figures and stuff I still need to unpack a couple of weeks later, but I've got a chunk of my collection unpacked.
So you now have...
And it's growing already, so...
Oh, it's growing, is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's August. This is like when we're getting like all the new stuff right now in Canada, so...
Yeah. Yep. So you moved, huh? You moved out on your own finally.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a matter of like getting a job and moving out, basically. So.
Yeah. See, I'm assuming it's just like a one-bedroom apartment or something like that.
Yeah. It's nothing huge. I mean, it's a good size for one person, though. So it's a really good size for one person.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It works out well. So, and it's it's close to work too. So I mean, I've got no complaints. And also, of course, just to tie into my various hobbies, there's a Walmart and a Toys R Us that are like they're like 15 minutes away on my bike in either direction. So
that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Well, actually, probably less. Probably closer to the Toys R Us might be 15, but probably closer to 10. The Walmart's probably like 10 or so on a bike.
Yeah.
Because the Toys R Us is like 5 minutes from work. So.
That's cool. Yeah, we've been back for about almost, I think, 8 or 9 episodes, something like that. I mean, we did those special episodes, 61 through 65 were special episodes, and now we're up to 71, and
you're officially back.
Yeah, we've been officially back. We're bringing some new blood in and everything else. We brought in Octobotamus and Spada and all that stuff, so we're still doing the rotating coast thing and continue to do that. Well, I like doing the rotating coast thing because it's more variety.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Spada, I don't really know much about him, but I've read some of his toy reviews on the Allspark, and I mean, he's generally pretty fair, so...
Yeah, he's pretty fair when he likes stuff. When he doesn't like stuff, he's harsh. But
awesome.
But it's true. I mean, it's really what it's true. A lot of the things that he says, and
I'm sure they are. Usually, people who have harsh things to say do. And when it comes to toy collecting, if they're rational people, even if they're harsh, there's generally a genuine some element of truth to what they're saying.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's been going on with me. Just getting toys in. It's not that I'm running out of toys now, but I've gotten a whole bunch of stuff, but some of the stuff I'm saving for certain episodes. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So yeah. Let's see. What do we want to discuss for the discussion topic? Freak. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we've gotten a lot of... One thing that Hasbro's done a lot of lately, which might merit discussion, is they've started figuring out clever ways to sneak tidbits to fans on a new product without actually announcing anything. Specifically, they've been on several instruction manuals of late. They've been sneaking in alternate heads on the instructions.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first recent use of this that people noticed was on movie Lockdown's instructions, when people noticed a different head. And then people started looking and going, okay, that looks similar to Axor's head. He was an action master from back in the day, and and it looked similar to his head. And we knew that there was an Axor that was going to be in the toy line due to Walmart leaked information, so people put two and two together. And then what people noticed, of course, later on, right after as well, is that we'd actually seen this head design ever since the 2009 San Diego Comic-Con sketchbook, because that head's actually in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hasbro's continued this with first with the War for Cybertron Bumblebee instructions. There's a distinct cliff jumper head in there, and they later confirmed that they were doing a cliff jumper. And now we've seen 3 examples of it recently with the Generations and Hunt for the Decepticons, with toys that aren't out yet, but that Hasbro's posted the instructions online. We have for Darkmount, aka Straxus, he's got Skullgrin's head as in his instructions. That's a repaint that we didn't know about, so people were able to figure out who that was pretty quickly. But in the case of Pterodive and Tomahawk, we've also gotten alternate heads on the instructions, and people are still trying to figure out who those are, right? Like if they're pre-existing characters, and if so, who they are.
Wasn't Skullgrin shown off at BotCon this year?
They showed him. Yes, they did show design sketches of him at BotCon. I don't think they showed an actual I don't think that they showed the actual toy, but yeah. So that's how they didn't knew it was Skullgrin. He's a repaint of Straxus. One thing as well is these figures could still very well have different accessories. For instance, with the lockdown instructions, he's got the hook on the instructions, but Axor's head. So, whereas Axor has a different weapon.
I think what Hasbro is doing with this is not only giving us a preview of potential repaints or whatever as far as moldings, but as far as double heads or different head molds, there's a lot of the stuff, a lot of the other figures, not really Hasbro. I don't know about Star Wars or G.I. Joe stuff, but a lot of the stuff that Mattel does, like with the Ghostbusters and Masters of the Universe, sometimes they will include in the package an alternate head. So,
Yes.
like, say...
Yes, there's a lot of manufacturers who do this on
Right.
6-inch figures.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised that Hasbro is sneaking this stuff into currently released or currently future, like, next couple of weeks.
Right.
Releasing toys with instructions that have different head molds or
Yes,
whatever.
this isn't new. This isn't a brand new policy for them, but something that's got picked up steam since Universe 2.0, when they got the idea that, if we design our repaints ahead of time, then we can get the head molds on the same mold. Like, the big obstacle to doing remolds, of course, is that you've got to do it. Traditionally, you'd have to do a new mold in order to do that. But what they figured out is that they could put the heads on the same mold and then just key off the different parts of the mold. So it's a one-time engineering cost. So they aren't actually so it costs the same amount of money to do 2 slightly different figures in terms of design.
Right.
And they've been really using that because it's an easy way to sell toys.
Yeah. And, Hasbro can, on the record say up and down, back to front, that they don't, listen to fans, or they can't directly take ideas from fans. That's crap.
Except that's not what they haven't said, like stealing ideas, but they have said that they do pay very close attention to what the fan base says.
Right. But
Online.
the answer, I don't know, it was one of those quarterly question and answer things that I saw in TFW. One of the questions was, do you directly take fan feedback or ideas from fans? Do you go about making the toys from something fans may mention to you? And the answer was something along the lines of, no, we do not directly take solicited ideas from fans. Or
That's true.
It was something along those lines.
What
Right,
you need,
right. And
anyone who's been in read stuff like comic books, for instance, like there's a message board I go to for one of my comic books that I read that's run by the author, and he explicitly says he doesn't want people going and mentioning fan ideas unless they're like marked by spoiler tags or something like that, because he said that if you guys say this here and I read, then that means I see it, then that means I can't use it, because even if I had the idea already, there's now the potential that people will claim, oh, he stole my idea.
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And they do, soliciting input from the fan base is still a different thing than taking ideas wholesale from people.
Right.
Like hearing a lot of people go, oh, we'd love to see another one of these characters, yeah, and then going, oh, we should make this guy. A lot of people want him, is very different than saying,
oh, right, yeah,
make this guy.
No, yeah, and I'm not saying that, I'm not saying anything negative against it. I'm just saying that, it's one of those things where they paid Hasbro and, any toy company or comic book company or non-Michael Bay movie, they'll listen to fans and they'll, implement stuff. That's fine, but like I said, they're not going to outright go to, say, you or I and ask us what we want to see on a new lug nut or whatever.
Yes. And yes, and keep in mind a question like that is the type that's going to go like straight to their PR department rather than the designers. And the PR departments can give the standard answer.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about for as far as Hasbro's?
Well, with the new heads, I guess one thing to mention was, with speculation, myself, I've really got my fingers crossed in terms of personal wants that Tomahawk's new head turns out to be a Spinister from G1, because he's got the same type of alternate mode. His robot mode is really similar, so I would love to see a new Spinister toy.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that I'm referencing a more C-lister G1 is kind of amazing in itself, given my knowledge about it. But a lot of that just has to do with the fact that one of the first G1 comics that I read and then reread was one of the Matrix Quest issues, which had Thunderwing and Windsweeper and Needle Nose, Spinister, and like all those guys going up against like Pretender, Grimlock, Bumblebee, and Jazz with the Matrix creature in there.
Yeah.
So Windsweeper and Spinister's bios were in the issue itself. So I know those two characters very well by heart.
Right.
Because I've read that over and over and over.
Right. All right. I guess we'll jump into display case, and I guess I will go first.
Sure.
I am going to be talking about Transformers Universe Challenge at Cybertron's the 3-pack set. I'm going to talk about Cyclonus. I gotta tell you, this Cyclonus is superior to the other two infinitely. The only downside to him is that the nightstick is silver and not chrome. But I've got my US version, the original Hasbro version, and I have to actually hold him up to in front of a light to actually see his light piping on the channel. Huh?
Who, the original?
Yeah, the original.
Really? I've always loved that figure because his light piping is so good.
The thing is, I don't have, by my computer where my speakers are, I don't have light source from that side.
Okay.
But even just holding him here, or not holding, well, yeah, okay, it does, but holding him from a light source that's coming in from the back, yes, he does. The light piping does show up, but this new one, which is just infinitely awesome, the light piping shows up immediately.
So they're using a lighter shade of red plastic in them? For clear plastic?
I'm not sure.
Usually that's what that means.
Well, it could be the. Let me put them side by side.
I mean, like, just a case in point in terms of light piping, one of the better figures I have for light piping, the Autobots I noticed tend to not be very good simply because they tend to use darker blue plastic for them. And when you've got a thick layer of that, it takes a bit of light. Like, Classics Optimus Prime is horrible light piping. But then if you take something like, say, Inferno's a special case because he's got clear light piping, like, as well as like with some blue mixed in. So his light piping is ridiculously good. And even like Henkei Rodimus and Henkei Optimus Prime, they also have lighter blue clear plastic, so their light piping works a lot better than the Classics versions.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's because I have my monitor on that the light piping on the challenge set comes out a little bit better. And I've got the two of them standing next to each other in front of the monitor, so the light piping comes out on the US version. But the US version is still slightly darker than the Challenge at Cybertron version. It just is.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, it probably does use a slightly lighter red plastic, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me.
This guy, I haven't... Everybody knows that I buy two of everything, so I haven't... This one will forever stay in robot mode, so I haven't actually seen the jet mode other than pictures, but this guy is pretty much the way he looked, the way Cyclonus looked in Transformers the movie 1986. I don't know what Hasbro or Takara were doing when they put out the US version in the darker purple and then the girly lavender for the Henkei version. But
well, I can guess what Hasbro was thinking with theirs. I mean, first of all, I'd call it more of a dark blue than a purple, but
no, this is purple.
Okay, I guess it's a matter of opinion, but what they were going for with that one was they were going for a homage to the original toy colors as opposed to the cartoon colors.
Well, you mean the original US one?
Yeah, they were going for the 1984. Yeah, the original US one was
a
homage to the original toy colors. So
it
is accurate in that respect.
I guess, but I mean, and which one are you saying is blue? The US or the Challenge?
The US. The Takara one is clearly a light purple.
No, this is clearly a dark purple. There is no mistaking this is.
I guess there is some purple on it.
There's
I mean, it's
no,
just
the,
really
no,
dark
the entire thing is purple. There is no way that this is dark blue. There's just no.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I missed.
Yeah, there's just no way. But with the challenge set, the only thing that, and I'm noticing even more and more differences between the two. Like on the US version, on his shoulders, he has a little bit of red on the top. On the challenge set,
yes, he does.
On the challenge set, it's all purple.
Interesting.
There's no red. His face is way more noticeable versus the US one, because the US one, while it is noticeable, it's not clearly defined. I mean, you can see he has a nose and a mouth. Yeah, but this one is much, much better, and I just thoroughly enjoy this one. The only problem with mine, for some strange reason, the wings don't... They're back the way they're supposed to be, but sometimes they move because, I don't know, I guess it's just the way the joint is, and it doesn't click in anywhere. And I think that's the same case. Let me see... Yeah, that's the same case on the US one too. So,
okay, I think I know what you mean.
It's just if you touch the wing part, like the pointy part of the wing, it'll move on the joint behind on the back of his arm.
Right.
Because they don't actually peg in anywhere. But this guy is just I have to get another Challenge at Cybertron set just for this guy, and of course for another Rodimus, but that's a discussion for another day. Nightstick being silver is extremely well done. I think outside of the fact that, and I don't know why, I really have no complaints against this guy outside of the fact that on both of them, and I'm sure on the Henkei one as well, unless Takara did it differently, his left hand there's no hole.
Yes, that's that's a design issue. That's how they designed it, really.
But why?
I think the main interest was in putting the peg hole on there for the gun. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure why they didn't do it on the other hand. I mean, I'll admit it is kind of a baffling decision.
I mean, yeah,
I never got that myself.
It kind of makes no sense, but other than that, I mean, this is like, it's like this toy just stepped right out of the '86 movie. Honestly, it is.
Yeah, now see, I just have the Henkei and the Classics one. I might get Challenge at Cybertron because I'm getting stuff from BBTS anyway.
Yeah,
but,
you need to go back to BBTS and put that on the on your list there.
I'm definitely tempted to add it to my pile of loot. So, I mean, it's an issue. I mean, the Rodimus I'm kind of so on because I've got both Rodimi already.
Well, if you
Cyclonus, I'm kind of interested in. Galvatron, I'm kind of interested in. So.
Galvatron's a piece of shit. He just
I've got the mold, so.
Here he is here, so you can see him actually.
Yes, I've seen pictures of Galvatron, and
well,
I'm honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, so you can see Cyclonus as far as see how purple he is.
Yes, he's got a really good shade of purple. I will agree. That's the thing he has over the Henkei one.
Yeah,
I do like his shade of purple better.
If you get a set and you don't want the Rodimus, give it to me. That way, I only have to get Cyclonus, but whatever. Overall, this guy is amazing. And you know the funny thing? This one, this challenge at Cybertron 3-pack one, I don't know if you've seen my pictures. I'm not sure if I put them up on Facebook or, I don't know, I put them somewhere.
I think I saw some of them. So
this guy fits in with animated.
Really?
I've taken pictures of him next to Rodimus, him next to RC. I took a group shot of him with Shockwave in the background and Jazz and Bum. He fits in because honestly, seriously, this is probably the closest we're going to get to an animated version of Cyclonus.
Yes, it is.
You know,
and animated was basically the G1 toy in transformation, which this one is.
Yeah, pretty much. And but he fits in very, very well with animated, I think. Of course, I don't have my Megatron in robot mode, so I don't know how well he fits in with Megatron, but with the rest of the ones that I have, with Ultra Magnus and Elite Guard Bumblebee and Jazz and Blur and all, he fits in very well as far as this color. So, very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like a very good figure, I will agree. And
I'm actually tempted to... oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much all I was saying. So,
go on. I'm actually tempted to sell my other Cyclonus, because I have 2 of the US versions.
Yes.
I don't know how. I'm sure I just get...
I've actually got a second one in box as well that I haven't opened, so...
Yeah.
I got him partly because then I could use him. I could troop build a couple of Cycloni, so.
Yeah.
Then never got around to opening him, and he's still in his box. So I've got a whole bunch of toys that are still in box that I moved with me when I moved. I've got a box full of toys that's mostly full of toys that haven't left their box, like my mitten box stuff. So I've got quite a bit of that. To all things considered, it kind of surprised me when I went through it.
Yes. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say about him. I will probably do like a little discussion thing in a future episode of ToyCast when I eventually get a second one, so I can see him in alt mode. Because I don't know, like the transformation from the original one to get it into robot mode was fairly easy, but when I tried to put the original back into alt mode, it didn't turn out too well, so I said screw it, and I wasn't going to do it anymore. So I'll probably do a little mini update later when I get another one.
Okay.
So what will you be talking about today?
I'm going to be talking about, despite the fact that I've gotten a lot of Transformers recently, and I could have easily talked about any one of them. I mean, seriously, I've gotten a lot, and I'm going to be getting more probably this week when Generations and Hunt for the Decepticons, the Deluxes, show up near my house. But, I mean, apartment rather. But what I'm going to be talking about, though, is some non-Star Wars stuff. I'm going to be talking about some of the new Clone Wars figures. Now, some of you have probably seen this if you've been to a toy store, but Clone Wars, it's a pretty good toy line if you've ever gotten any of the figures. Sometimes you have posability sacrifices in order to keep them more on model in terms of the designs, but like the sculpting has been really stellar in the figures, and I've picked up stuff here and there in the past for figures I've really liked. And the 2010-2011 series for Clone Wars really knocks it out of the park. Like, these are the ones with the new packaging. Although, first I want to just talk about the new gimmick that they included with every figure, which is actually a really neat idea. They've finally given stands to all the Clone Wars figures, which was one of the big flaws of the first line, because I've got some Clone Wars figures that simply cannot stand, like Darth Sidious and Admiral Yularen. They can barely stand. But these ones all come with stands, so that removes that flaw. But what was really clever is they decided to, I don't know how familiar you are with Tactics at all?
Not at all.
Or just the idea of having some sort of a battle game where you have points and then roll dice sort of thing to fight. What they did was they packaged a little card with every figure that for that particular character that has kind of like a trading card game sort of thing where it's got different statistics on them. Mm-hmm. Like stuff like force ability, battle skills, like all that sort of stuff, and numbers, and a dice package with each one as well. And the cards clip onto the back of the stands, so you can. And the idea is that this is the Galactic Battle Game, as they call it. I don't know the rules myself, but the idea is that you can actually use these figures in order to play a game with them. The figures aren't necessary; they're accessories to the game more than anything. But it's still a very cool idea, and it's one that I actually thought up something similar in my head years ago and went, "Oh man, someone really should do this," and someone did, and I'm glad.
Very cool.
It's a clever use for stands that I probably help people keep track of the cards as well, because the cards can attach to the slide into the stands and make them like playing pieces.
Right.
But anyway, I'll talk about the stuff now. The one I'm mainly going to talk about, I think I'll get to that, do that one last, and I'll just talk about the other ones quickly, just because I've got more to say about that one. But I got 4 of the ones from the Clone Wars. The first one was the new Yoda figure, which is it's the same as the one from last year, I think, only it's on the new card. And like as I mentioned, the Clone Wars figures are really good with show accuracy, and Yoda, he looks like he stepped out of the cartoon. I mean, he's pretty much bang on. He's got a cloth coat. He's really posable. He's bang on Yoda. He's got his walking stick and lightsaber. Then you've got one of the characters from Season 2, who's a new Star Wars character, who is a Preya Vizsla. I'm probably doing the name wrong, but anyway, he's the commander of the Death Watch Mandalorians that show up in Season 2. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty sweet. He's got a couple of dual pistols. He's got a dark saber, like basically like a sword of some sort for using against lightsabers. Right. And a removable jetpack helmet and a cloth cape, like the type that hangs off the side as opposed to the back.
Right.
And he looks really cool. I mean, he's all right with a helmet, but I actually don't even pose him with that because his head sculpt is just so good. And he's also really posable. And then the third one I'm going to talk before I get to my main one I'm talking about is going to be Aura Singh. She's she first cameoed in Star Wars Episode 1. She's shown up in Expanded Universe fiction a lot. And she's had a number of appearances in Clone Wars. And her sculpt, it is amazing because it looks exactly like the show model. It is definitely, I think, one of my favorite Clone Wars Clone Wars sculpt date. It's really good. It comes with a sniper rifle and a couple of pistols, and her sniper rifle can hang off her back, and it hangs pretty well too. But it's another but it's really posable and it's bang on. And the fact that they put stands with these figures makes them a lot better because you don't need to worry about whether or not they're going to be able to hold the poses you're putting them in. But coup de grace I'm going to talk about is the new General Grievous figure. I'm a Grievous fan. I've been a Grievous fan for a while. I've got all the figures from the Episode 3 toy line of Grievous in storage somewhere. And I've got both the Clone Wars figures of him. And the first one was really, to some extent, mediocre in terms of, again, it was a symptom of not having stands because the figure was really, really hard to balance. He had very little leg posability. If memory serves, I think his leg posability was his hips move, and that's about it. But his legs were locked otherwise, and as a result, he couldn't actually really... It was really tricky to get him to hold poses.
Mm.
And not just that, but because of the way he has the legs with the massive toes, you can't even peg him into a stand because he has nowhere to peg a stand into. So I mean, he's got no peg on him. There's nowhere to put a peg on his feet. So that's a problem. But see, that's one of the reasons I like this new one. This new one is based off the episode from season 1 where he goes back to Kalish in order to repair himself. So it's got a few swappable battle damage parts on it. It's got a swappable helmet with some battle damage. And it's got swappable forearms so that you can give him forearms where the hands are cut off.
Right.
As if, like a Jedi cut off his hand and it's all charred and stuff at the end. And he doesn't have alternate arms like some of the other ones have, where he's got 4 arms. He's only got 2, but... he comes with a couple of lightsabers. And there's a few things I want to really rave about this guy. The first one is the fact that it's a completely new mold, and they completely redid it, including the legs, such that you can actually get poses out of his legs now. His legs, they've still got the same hip, they've still got the same rotation at the hip, the same hip joint, but they've also gone and not only did they add a knee joint to him, but they also added an ankle joint to him. And, he's got the type of reverse legs where you have the really long ankle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you have on animals, on a lot of animals and stuff.
Oh,
He's got those types of legs, so having a posable ankle means that you can actually get him in poses with a posable knee and ankle.
Very cool.
And he holds them really well. And, I mean, really, the coup de grace, which really impressed me once I started taking a look at the stand, is all the stands have a couple of slots on the side. Now, Grievous, he's got the really wide feet. The feet are rubbery plastic. But he's got nowhere to peg holes. But there's these 2 slots here, which, conveniently enough, the feet can actually fit into. So you can actually use the stands with Grievous. So he can actually hold his poses.
That's good.
Yeah, I know. I got that and was like, holy... And my reaction was, holy crap, I have a Grievous, I can actually stand up.
That's good.
Yes. A very, very good improvement to that figure. The only real complaint I have about the figure, other than... I love the sculpt really well. Other than this, is just that his shoulder pads were not pegged on very hard. I mean, that helps for the whole battle damage look, because then you can pull them off and have no shoulder armor on his arms, but they come off far too easily, in my opinion. Yeah, aside from that, though, the new Grievous is great. You can get him in some good poses, and he's got the swappable parts, which means that kids are going to lose stuff, obviously, but... I mean, you can't really avoid that, quite seriously. Even I lose missiles from time to time, and I'm in my early 20s, but
yeah.
I mean, he's still a really good figure though, and he's nice and posable as well, and is a vast improvement over the original Grievous that they released in the line.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good for Star Wars collectors.
Yes, I'm not a heavy Star Wars collector, I usually just go and go, oh, this figure is awesome, and I like this character, so I should get this one.
Yeah.
That's how I tend to go. Like, I mean, once I saw an episode of Clone Wars with these assassin droids in it, and they were really awesome. Like, the same marketing they're using to sell these toys to kids worked on me, and that it was like, holy crap, these are awesome. And then the toys are really posable as well. I want to get some of these. And they were I think they were on sale at the time, so I got a couple, and I've still got one in box. I think.
Cool.
So.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I don't really think so. I mean, I can just briefly touch on some of the just a lot of the Transformers I've gotten recently, just in terms of the fact that I've got these now, but as opposed to not really talking about them. But I mean, I recently got Sea Spray from the Hunt for the Decepticons, the Bomb Shock Power Core Combiner set, Legends Ravage, and I got the Masterpiece Grimlock, the the Cyber Ops Bumblebee, the giant leader there, Human Alliance Jazz, the the Japanese animated Legends Elite Guard Prowl. Like it's a more G1 colors repaint of Prowl.
Yeah, it's $100 and something.
No, that's the deluxe. I got the Legends.
Oh, okay.
I got the Legends cheap off of someone here in Calgary. And I guess the big coup de grace is I finally got myself a Masterpiece Prime.
There you go. That works.
The first Hasbro version. So.
If I ever get Masterpiece Prime, I'm getting MPO4. That's it. It's all in one. It's the cab. It's the trailer. It's everything. Right. So
my issue was that I had no interest in the trailer simply because of the fact that
you have G3, don't you?
Yeah, I have the G3 trailer, but I mean that doesn't really go with the Masterpiece though. But it's too small for that. But I mean, I had no interest, less because I have the G3 and more because I have the G3. I have Galaxy Force Prime. I have RAD Prime. I have, I've got the City Commander and Powered Commander sets. I've got RAD Scourge. Basically, in a nutshell, I've got more trailers than I know what to do with. So I don't. Yeah. The last thing I need is another trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, still, just in terms of me, it's like, why spend however much on a Hasbro version, whatever it's going to cost for the Masterpiece, and then have to spend more money on a trailer for it when I can just get the MPO4 at whatever that's price. Fair. I think it's $200.
Yeah, it is.
And so
that's fair. I mean, I paid $90 for mine, so it was a matter of, well, I don't really want the trailer, so paying the $200 isn't really worth it for me. With Rodimus, that's a bit of a different story. I'll pay to get the trailer, but.
Well, the trailer comes with him, doesn't it? I think.
With Rodimus? Yeah, it does. So. Yeah,
so I mean that, they're doing that good at least. So that works. All right, well, I think we're going to close this one out. Thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. You can also use our Facebook Connect if you want to log in through Facebook. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes, please do this. Follow us on Twitter. The showing there is TFToycast. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
General Techno.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. Hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit BigBadToyStore.com for all your Transformers and other toy-related needs and more. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
General Techno.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.